Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new around here, my name is Becca. I am a registered dietitian and I make videos here on my channel about nutrition, wellness, non-toxic living, some lifestyle, motherhood, lots of stuff. But one of the topics that I talk about a lot here on my channel is intuitive eating. I am a huge proponent of intuitive eating and I am definitely someone who kind of rejects diets, and I really just try and teach people how to rely on their own innate cues as far as how much to eat, when to eat, what to eat, and I think that it is truly one of the best ways to go about a healthy lifestyle. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I just got back from a little mini vacation. Matt, Hayden, and I went down to Florida for about a week and we had a great time, but I asked you guys on Instagram actually if you wanted to see me do a video talking about intuitive eating while on vacation, because it's definitely a little bit different when you're out of your, normal comfort zone, I guess, at home. You don't have access to your kitchen, you can't, you're eating out more often, your options are different, and you just kind of have to go with the flow. So I wanted to share with you guys some of my thoughts on how to kind of balance being on vacation and enjoying all of the foods, if you're eating out, like, or just different cuisines of different cultures if you're going on, like, abroad or anything like that, but then also kind of balancing it with that eating to feel good, not going overboard, and still listening to your body. Okay, so before we dive into that whole conversation, I just quickly wanted to say I have a lot of videos here on my channel about intuitive eating in general if you want to check those out. If you're just curious exactly what intuitive eating is and like how to do it, I do talk a lot about that in some different videos. However, I always recommend this book. It's called Intuitive Eating. It's by Evelyn Tribal and Elise Resch. They are two dietitians that basically started the intuitive eating movement, and they're amazing. So this is what I recommend everybody read. It's really fascinating, and yeah, so if you want to know more, this book is amazing. Okay, so let's talk about how to implement eating intuitively while you are, on a trip or on vacation, you're traveling. So like I said, it's kind of finding that fine balance between enjoying the trip, because you're going to be able to go to so many different restaurants. You're probably going to have more opportunities to indulge in different treats, and then depending on where you are, you could be introduced to a lot of new food that you've never tried and you really want to try and enjoy. But unfortunately, it is definitely very common to throw caution to the wind when you're on vacation and just kind of get in this mindset of like, well, I'm on vacation, I can't have this at home, so I might as well just eat it, and you end up overeating and you probably end up not feeling the best because you're going to be really full or sluggish, or your digestion's going to be off, and it's kind of keeps you from fully enjoying the trip to its fullest potential. Okay, so I'm going to break down kind of the two main pillars of intuitive eating and how they can be applied when you're on vacation. So the first pillar is just listening to your body. It's following your cravings as far as what you want to eat and when you want to eat, really tuning in and figuring out what exactly it is your body is wanting. Okay, and then the second pillar, which is equally as important, is following or tuning into your body's hunger and fullness cues. So that is listening to when you are truly hungry and you need to bring in some food, some energy, some calories, and then also paying attention to when you are starting to feel full and stopping when you are comfortably full. So when it comes to actually applying these to vacation, in my opinion, and something that I personally do, pillar number one, where you are really eating, what your body wants, what your body is craving, takes a little bit of a back seat when you're on vacation. And then pillar number two, we focus on even more. So when you are out of town, you're on vacation, you are traveling, your access to food is completely different than it is at home usually. At home, you have access to grocery stores, you have a kitchen where you can stock food that you like, you can stock up on healthy food, you prepare most of your meals potentially at home, versus when you're traveling, you're grabbing food on the go in the airport, and then when you arrive at your destination, you're probably going to be eating out almost every single meal, if not every single meal. And even if you are staying somewhere that has access to a kitchen, you're probably not going to be going out and doing like a full normal grocery trip, because you are going to be going out to eat and enjoying all the different foods and restaurants that your destination has to offer. So because the situation is so totally different than at home, this is why I kind of say that pillar number one, where we're eating intuitively what we're craving, kind of takes a back seat, because you may just physically not have access to the foods that you would typically crave and eat and enjoy at home. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because again, one of the greatest joys of traveling and going on vacation is trying new food or eating out every night when you typically don't at home. And it's just a little more indulgent, which again, it's not a bad thing. It's only temporary. It should be enjoyed. But at the same time, I mean, it's fact that when you're cooking at home, 9 times out of 10, it is always going to be much healthier than what you would be eating out at restaurants, because you can control the ingredients. So this is why pillar number 2, where we're really focusing on those hunger and fullness cues, that's why this becomes even more important, because we're off of our game, if you will, and we're eating a lot more likely indulgent foods. So it can be a little bit easier to kind of go overboard. So it's important, if you want to truly feel good and enjoy all of the food and feel good while doing it throughout your trip, you know, eating when you're hungry, but especially stopping when you are comfortably full, this is so important. You're going to be eating different foods that you're typically probably not eating, at least at this frequency, at home. You're going to be probably eating at different times, and then like I said, you're probably going to have more opportunities to, you know, indulge in richer foods, again, that you probably wouldn't be eating at home, at least at this frequency. So really tuning into your cues and, you know, eating when you're hungry, and then especially stopping when you're full, this really helps you kind of navigate this situation where everything is different. You're eating different foods, you're eating at different times, and you're just kind of off of your normal routine, if you will. This really helps you navigate all of that, while enjoying, but also still feeling relatively good. Now, I do want to say, even though we are kind of moving our intuitive cravings slightly to a back burner, and maybe you don't have to, depending on, you know, where you're visiting, maybe you can still continue to kind of eat what you normally like and what you're truly craving and what your body is asking for. You might still be able to completely maintain that, but that's not always realistic. So even though we are putting on the back burner, I don't think it should ever be completely tossed out the window. And I will give you an example of a couple instances that I personally just experienced on this trip to give you guys an idea of what I mean here. So when you're on vacation, I feel like a lot of times when you're out to eat at, you know, going out to dinner or something like that, dessert is just kind of, at least in my experience, it's just like, oh, well, we're gonna get dessert because we're on vacation. And again, you should enjoy yourself while you're on vacation, and if you want dessert, you should have it. But the reverse of that is also, if you really just don't want it, you don't have to have it just because you're on vacation and just because you can't get this at home. You should be listening to your body in that moment. So for example, for us, we went to this really good Italian restaurant, and we were really excited about it, and my mom kept telling me that they had this like phenomenal tiramisu, and I love tiramisu, and we actually got it to go, and I was really excited about it. I was planning on trying it. I was really looking forward to it because she kept talking it up. And when we actually got home, I just kind of had like, my stomach was a little bit upset. I just wasn't really in the mood for it. I was like, oh, well, we'll just leave it in the fridge. Maybe I'll have it tomorrow. And then the next day, I just wasn't really in the mood for it. And even though it was like this really great tiramisu that I guess I missed out on trying, I just didn't really want it. So I just didn't have it. And that's totally okay. So don't fall into that trap of like, well, I'm on vacation, so I should try it because I'm here. Because if you really don't want it, and maybe it's gonna upset your stomach or something like that, you don't have to have it. But also, if you wanna have it, you should have it. And then another example, one of our last days there, you know, again, we were eating out a lot. I was maybe not eating as many like fruits and veggies as I do at home. And on one of our last days, I just so badly wanted a salad. I just wanted a big, crunchy, fresh salad. That is just what I was craving. So for dinner that night, that's what I got. I did have a little bit of pizza too, but the salad was kind of like the main thing that I wanted. And typically when I'm eating out and on vacation, salads just aren't usually what I go for. I want to go for like a cooler dish, you know, typically something I can't necessarily get anywhere else, or especially at home. So for me, that was kind of like it was just like, it was what I wanted, and it wasn't like typically what I would order on vacation, but it was what I wanted, so I got it, and it was delicious, and it was what my body wanted. And again, so that's kind of like another example of like, don't have this mindset of like, well, I'm on vacation and it's only temporary, so I should just eat all of the things that I can't get at home, because if I had done that, I would have been feeling pretty crappy by the end of the trip, and I wouldn't have been myself, and I wouldn't have just like felt as energized and like myself. So it is important to still listen to your body, but maybe be a little more loose with this one, because again, your access to food is just not going to be the same as home, so you can't necessarily expect to eat exactly the same way as you do at home. Next, one thing I really want you guys to remember is it's temporary when you're on your vacation. I am such a creature of habit. I like my routines. I like to eat what I like to eat at home, and being on vacation, it can throw me for a loop a little bit, but it is temporary, and you are going to be going home, and you are going to be going back to your usual routine. So if you're like me and that's something that maybe has the potential to like stress you out a little bit, it's okay, because you are going to go back home. So you should just enjoy it while you're there now, and like I said, do what you can to feel good in the moment. Don't force yourself to eat anything, or don't restrict yourself from eating anything that you really want because, you know, of some weird food rule that you have. Just enjoy yourself and know that you might not feel your absolute best, but that's okay. Being able to enjoy all of the delicious foods that, you know, traveling or vacation has to offer, and not really worrying about food or how it's making you feel too much while on vacation, I think is a worthy trade-off. When you're on vacation, the point is to enjoy yourself. So if you're not allowing yourself to kind of deviate from the normal foods that you eat and enjoy the foods that your, you know, vacation or trip has to offer, I don't think you are truly enjoying yourself. But also, totally throwing caution to the wind and just eating everything in sight and overdoing it just because you're on vacation, it's probably not going to make you feel very good. So then you're also not fully enjoying your trip. So those are kind of all of my thoughts on intuitive eating while on vacation. I hope that this makes sense. It is definitely kind of a game of finding that balance when you can. And let's be real, balance is like perfection, which is never actually achievable. So you're always just kind of in the pursuit of that balance. So when you're on vacation, I want you to enjoy yourself, and that means having, you know, letting loose a little and enjoying whatever is there, and not worrying too much about not being maybe or eating what you normally eat to feel your best, but at the same time not completely overdoing it so that you don't feel like good at all. Traveling is so fun, and it is such a gift, and being able to experience like other foods, whether that's just slightly different restaurants that you would normally go to at home, or whether it's, you know, completely different cuisine from a different culture that you've never experienced before. It's a beautiful opportunity and something that should be taken advantage of and enjoyed. And if you guys have any trips coming up and that is why you're watching this video, I hope that you enjoy it to the fullest. I hope that you try some new foods or some new restaurants that you love and you just really enjoy. And remember that that balance I was talking about, again, it's perfection. You're never going to achieve it perfectly, and your trips are temporary. So enjoy them while you're there, but do it in a way that doesn't make you dying to go home to get back on your routine. That is all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd absolutely love for you to subscribe, and I'd also love for you to come over to my Instagram and follow me there. I love chatting with you guys on there. But that is it for this video. Like I said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.